Joe. We have an amazing event for you tonight. We are going to talk about the Sunday sell-off, which everybody knows Sundays are Sunday sell-off, and we are all about SHIB. Now, if anyone doesn't know who they are, please stay tuned. We will be right here explaining it to you live. What do we want to put out here? Here, we'll do this one. Yay! Okay, we'll do the background with the Shiba Inu. Now we would like to use a realistic dog. We could use a realistic dog. We could do the world. So if we take a vote on which one you like to prefer, we can do just about anything that you want. So we got the realistic dog. It's almost a similar, same thing, except that it's a lot bigger. So we got this one. Oh, where's the other one? This one's not bad either. This one's pretty good. I like this one. What was the other one? This one's not too bad. That one's right up there with the rest of them. That's awesome. Hand's a little itchy, so that means good news, depending on which hand it is. I'm not going to tell you which hand it is. Okay, so we had words from Mark Anthony yesterday. I don't know if anyone was paying attention yesterday. Mark Anthony mentioned 8.2 million wallet holders throughout the world. Now, I don't know where he got that information, but if that would be something he'd be willing to talk about in this segment of the SHIB Worldwide 50/50 show. This is a live update for you, so we're going to break up that interesting concept with you very, very shortly here, because we want to make sure that we're telling everybody that if we've sold tickets or we haven't sold tickets, if we've done a proclamation on what's going on. So unfortunately, we did not sell any tickets. So again, that's going to be held over for the next day for the ticket draw. And we would be doing it in 4 minutes if it were so. So if that were the case, right? So I want to make sure that everybody understands that. Where are we? Isn't it interesting that we have over 5.3 billion people on the planet, and how many of them know about SHIB? SHIB, how many know about them? And why do we only cover SHIB? SHIB is the only currency next to Bitcoin that is decentralized, completely and utterly decentralized. What does that mean, right? Well, it means that they have no governing body looking over them, except for investors, but they don't have access to keys. They don't have access to the tokenomics. They don't have access to their coins. So for BTC, there's nobody looking over it. The only thing is with BTC, it does have is generation, and they do have a capitalization on the amount of coins that are distributed. So it's limited supply. But once it gets there, those will always be in circulation. SHIB, on the other hand, started off with a massive number. The founder, God bless his soul, we don't know who that is. A lot of people say it's Ryoshi, but we don't know who Ryoshi is. So God bless them that started SHIB out of a meme. And it got, massive decky. Play by play, give it to me. Massive love shout out to Mike. Massive love shout out to Decky. Play by play. Give me the play by play. So, Decky, we are representing the SHIB Worldwide 50/50 raffle. Woo! Welcome to the show. And thank you for watching. And make sure that you hit like and comment and subscribe if you like what we are doing here for the entire world. This is a worldwide event. Absolutely. We do raffle draws every single day. It's on our clock on the website. If you want to look into it, we are doing that. Enjoy the ride, right? Exactly. We all want to make money. Everybody out there, everybody wants to make money. We want to make it right now, though, right? Yeah, we want it as soon as possible. So the whole idea of the SHIB 50/50 raffle was to speed things up a lot. Buy tickets, benefit from it. Every person that benefits, everybody benefits from the raffle. Absolutely. How do we do that? Well, 50% of it goes to the winner. 50% of it goes back to the community as form as burns. So once those burns happen, what happens? Every single time we do a burn, we add value to every single holder that's holding it. So you are gaining in value. Now that value, unfortunately, is not being looked upon by the rest of the world. Majority of the cryptocurrencies look at the Bollinger Bands, the ROIs, the RSI, the chart. They always look at the charts because they're traders. So they're trying to make as much money as possible doing the charting. So if they see a breakout or a turn down, they're making money either way. Now in SHIB, it's constantly reducing its circulating supply. We can get into the reduction in circulating supply right now. So today we had 10 million 16 hours ago reduced. We had 22 million yesterday reduced, and on top of that was around 28. Wasn't it 28 million that was reduced yesterday? And then today we've had 12, and the day before we had 14. We had around 28 million SHIB destroyed yesterday. So when we get those eliminated, it's sent into the abyss. They cannot be returned. Okay, so there's no replenishment. Once they go there, in fact, when you go and push in there, it tells you that you're not going to be able to retrieve them. No matter what you do, they're not going to be able to retrieve any of the coins that you sent to the dead-end wallets. You can write that off as gains, though. Please keep that in mind. So if you have gains and you have to pay taxes on those gains, you can write that off. But you want to write that off before you start taking profit, just so that you know. And there's a few things to watch for when you're cashing out your SHIB, SHIB. There's a couple things to watch for. The amount of wallet holders that there are. Right now, we are gaining in wallet holders. We hit an all-time high. We're at 1.5, 10,925. So we're close to 11,000. 1,511,000. We're really close to that. We're only 75 wallets away from hitting that range. Now that's on Ethereum, guys. Please keep that in mind that this is on Ethereum network, not on the entire world. So you got to remember there's 240 exchanges holding SHIB right now. Majority of them have caught on to just buying it and then selling it directly on their exchange rather than going through Ethereum. Ethereum missed the boat on it, and they are now paying the price for it. They haven't done any reductions in SHIB. If they did, we would not be talking right now. We would be talking, you would hear somebody else talking about it, and chances are SHIB would be probably $2 by now. No word of a lie. And how can we say that? Well, you think about it. Ethereum, if they would have started a long time ago when they did the $410 trillion burn way back in 2021, to keep that going, that momentum going, they would have broke out from Bitcoin. They would have broke out from the rest of the whole community because they would have instantly realized, hey, wait a second. We don't have to live with a 4-year trend anymore. We have SHIB in our back pocket. So we can start reducing its circulating supply. Take a portion of what we made. They made $40 billion like in 4 months. Like, that's insanity. $40 billion Ethereum made. $40 billion. Think about it, $40 billion. If you were to make $40 billion in 4 months, wouldn't you be like on cloud 9? Yeah, they were on cloud 9. They were too busy drinking champagne, having a great old time. Didn't realize that the reason why they were up so high and broke world records was because they increased the amount of demand for SHIB. And therefore, when SHIB started to come down, it went right back down to where it started, which was unbelievable, right? It hit that level. I mean, before the 410 trillion SHIB were burned, it hit that level. Like, it was in that. That's the insanity. Now, it did sell off before then, right? So it did start high and then it went lower. That's understandable. But when you burn 410 trillion, that's 41% of the total supply. And your value now has increased dramatically. People didn't understand value. They still don't understand value to this day. So that's why we said that the value of SHIB right now should be roughly 30564. Now that's a 65%, 45% increase from where it's at right now. 45 times. That's a 45 bagger. Just to get to value. There's nothing. Okay, so if you look at everything that's in value that's making money for you, every single thing that's working is giving back, right? So the most financial companies in the world is 10 times. So it usually trades either at 10 or 8 times earnings, forward earnings, okay? SHIB is constantly reducing its circulating supply, adding to that value every single time there is a reduction in SHIB circulating supply. So what does that give every single person on the planet? An advantage over everything else that's going on, because nothing else does share buybacks at market value. Nothing. So right now, you're getting those massive burns at this price. That's amazing. That means they're able to reduce more supply, less money. Yay! Now exchanges have not caught on to it. Like I said, if Ethereum had done it before, we would have had a massive run up, and then that massive run up, because all they had to do was, oh, you know what? We're going to stick $5 billion into the burn of SHIB. It hit $28 billion market cap, taking $5 billion off the table at $28 billion. Is $23 billion, right? Because now you took $23 billion and $5 billion of that is gone. We need to get another run after 3 to 4 months, because it takes a little time for psychology to kick in that says the value has been added. You better start paying attention, because now the run's going to happen again. And then they would make even more money. So it would be like 60 to 70 billion. We would have transactions every single second, because people are crazy. They don't know what they're buying or selling. They look at, like I said, they're traders. They're so used to cryptocurrencies, making money, selling it, making it, selling it, making it, sell. They don't look at valuations at all, and it's proof of it today. Because we're looking at a valuation of SHIB at 30564, right? So if you're looking at a valuation of 5, and that's at value, right? Just so everybody understands, that's value, right? So what does that give everybody on the planet? An ability to get in, take part, and be part of something very, very powerful. And if they were to do that constantly, you wouldn't have the value it is right now. It would be a lot higher. Because every time that they make, like they would make around 60 to 70 billion dollars, you take 10% of that, right? You'd look at another drive, probably around 10 to, probably around 2x, 3x from there. So you were looking at 3 zeros, 2, 3 zeros, 4 with more volume. The volume would almost double in size, and then you do another 10 billion on top of that. Market cap is sitting around 30 to 40 billion dollars market cap by that time. Take 10 billion off the table. You know where I'm going with this, right? You have less supply. Within 2 years span, there's no supply left, because they're making so much money doing this. Every single one of the organizations are going to want to steal it from them as quickly, as fast as possible, because now they understand what value-driven SHIB is all about, and they don't want to lose out on the money that Vitalik Buterin and the Ethereum blockchains are stealing from the rest of the market cap. They don't want any part of that. They want to make sure they're making the money too, right? So now we have 240 exchanges. Now it's trading in SHIB. Now, a lot of those don't have that much SHIB. They need trillions, not billions. So their organization would have to double down and buy more SHIB. Now, doing that, it decreases the amount of SHIB that's available to everybody else. But they're selling it too, right? But their whole objective is to hoard as much of it as they can. And then every time that someone does a transaction, now not just with SHIB, every time that they do a buy-in and sell on their exchange, they're going to use it to reduce SHIB circulating supply. Why? Because it benefits them. And they haven't caught on to it. So thank God it never happened, because now everybody has an opportunity to take advantage of that. Every single person on the planet, because what happens is we have a 45x run just to get to value. It hasn't happened yet. Thank God, because it allows other people to get in. Now, for the holders, it sucks, right? For us, it's not good for us. The holders, no, because we wanted to erupt sooner. We wanted people to start understanding what adding to value is what it's all about. It hasn't caught on yet. The power is still there. It hasn't gone anywhere. SHIB has no governing body, so therefore it doesn't have its CEO, CFO, and everybody is opt to promoting SHIB, SHIB. Because you can't look at SHIB and ask it to start promoting itself. There's no one there to promote it. So it's up to the people behind it. So, and that's why we tell everybody, listen, you've got to tell everybody about it, because if you don't, that's okay, because you're going to make millions anyway, right? It's just that the banks are going to manipulate it, and the exchanges are going to manipulate it. And then you have the companies eventually stepping in and manipulating it, if they haven't started already. What was it? The other thing I was going to mention. Isn't it interesting? The major institutions, banks, haven't taken part in this. Isn't that amazing? Like they haven't, and they got accountants, they got record keepers, they got people watching stuff that's going to make them money, and they haven't caught on to it. It's amazing how much they've missed out on this. And it's true because Robinhood owns a lot of SHIB right now, over 68 trillion. Oh, no, it's over 100 trillion. Between Robinhood and BlackRock, they own a lot of SHIB, a lot of SHIB. And 9 trillion of that quantity is hoarded. It's off the exchanges. So it's hoarded. Okay, Ethereum doesn't own majority of SHIB anymore. It's fallen into crypto.com, Binance, OKX, Gate.io, HTX. Coinbase is now starting to absorb a lot of SHIB. Like I said, it's only people don't like losing money. So when they find something that's going to make them money, like that's the part that I don't understand. Like they don't get, I don't understand it myself. I have a hard time. I get baffled every time I come up and I talk about this. You are making an insatiable amount of money. So why wouldn't they catch on to it? Why wouldn't they take part in it? Because they haven't. That hasn't happened to them yet. They haven't seen that. But Robinhood has, with the massive burns that Shibarium did back in November, December of 2023, and then in January 2024. In March, took 4 months, right? The 4-month miracle. I don't know why it takes 4 months for people's psychology to kicked in, but it does. And then, and I love this one because Lucy, part of the development team, came out and said, see, the burns don't mean anything. And then less than 3 weeks later, she's biting her mouth because what happens to SHIB? 7x, right? 7x. Instant. Beats everything out because it starts to run. Everything else takes off behind it. But SHIB's the first one out of the gate. And it flies. And it flies high. And 6 to 7 billion transactions in a day for 43 days. No word of a lie. So that's a lot of money in volume taking part. A lot of money. And what do these exchanges do? Nothing. Where does SHIB go? Down. If they would have burned, would have been another 4 months minimum, right? It could have happened sooner, but yeah, maximum about 4 months after a burn, massive burn happens. We've been doing burns over 4 years, and we burned 964 billion SHIB. That's billion with a B. Works out to 6,133,734.60. Given back to the entire SHIB community. Now, is that powerful or not? That is massive. So what do people do? They don't realize the value. That's how come we know, and it proves it, that they don't understand value. And you get people coming on here and saying, you're a hoax. It's not. SHIB can mint as many SHIB as they want. I'm like, well, if you have no governing body, how are you supposed to mint anything? They have zero governance. There's no one overlooking SHIB. But what about the SHIB ecosystem? SHIB ecosystem development team is hijacked the SHIB name. They came out, get a load of this. SHIB comes out in 2020, right? Ryoshi developed it. Ryoshi didn't talk about the development team at all. He gave half the supply to Vitalik Buterin. Now, why would he give half the supply to Vitalik Buterin? Probably because he told Vitalik Buterin, says, I need a favor. And he gave him half the supply, knowing that he was going to turf 41% of the supply. And then he burns the keys. And then, after Vitalik Buterin did that, Kusama steps onto the scene in 2021 of August, 1 year after the birth of SHIB. And he proclaims that he's the CEO of SHIB. Well, he's not. He's the CEO of his own verse. So Bone Leash, he's the CEO of that. He's the CEO of Treat. He's the CEO of Satoshis. He's the CEO of that. He's the CEO of the Burn Wallet address. that he created. He also does the staking in SHIB. So everybody, please keep that in mind when you're talking about Kusama Satoshi. Make sure that you're bringing that up with when you're saying that, because he's 1 year after the birth of SHIB. He did not develop SHIB. They say they do, but they don't. Okay, so they have nothing to do with SHIB. All they are is a byproduct. They did make a website, but anybody can make a website in SHIB. You have the right to do it because it's got zero governance. You don't have to ask people's permission. You just, like me with the raffle, I didn't have to ask permission from the SHIB community, but I'm asking you if you would like me to represent the SHIB community and burn as much SHIB as possible through the raffle. And if you don't, just make sure that your voice gets heard so everybody else can see it. Because I want to know how many people out there don't want to see massive accumulation of SHIB. Because that drives in what? More wealth to the entire SHIB community. That is the whole purpose of the SHIB 50/50 raffle. No, the whole purpose of the SHIB 50/50 raffle is to bring awareness. It's to wake people up. Literally wake you up. It gets us there faster, absolutely, but it's not the end all be all. It isn't. So the exchanges are, and the companies are. I can't burn it as fast as they can burn it. Okay, every McDonald's, every Tim Hortons, every Dunkin' Donuts, every Cookies and Cream, every single one of these organizations can burn SHIB in a heartbeat on every single transaction that goes on in their stores. And why would they do that? It increases their earnings, revenue, and growth. It's good for the investors because the investors see that as money coming into their pockets. Every single day that they do a reduction in SHIB circulating supply, they get to write it off. It doesn't cost them anything, and they get to do it again. Because the money they get back from the government, they can put it back into the SHIB burn. Because it costs them nothing to do it. They get it back. 100% they get it back because it's a donation to themselves, basically. But they don't say it's a donation to themselves. They're saying it's a donation to the world. And they get to do that in every single country. In every single organization that's out there that's separate from everything that's going on. So a massive amount of explosion is waiting for SHIB at the end of the day. And we're going to see reductions every second eventually. And they're going to be massive. 10, 15, 20 million. Yeah, you're going to see probably more like 300 million SHIB being reduced every few seconds. Not a couple hours, not like you're seeing it right now. That means it hasn't caught on. That's the thing you have to watch for. Once you see this happening, Starbucks, McDonald's, Burger King, all the fast food places, all the industries out there, even the massive organizations like Alibaba, Amazon, they're all going to take part in it. Apple, Tesla, every single one of them. And once they start realizing what that's going to drive for them, they don't need to sell anything or do anything extra. They're making money on the sidelines. Ford, GM, all going to be doing this exact same thing. And when SHIB gets up to $10, $12, guess what? Now you can buy a car with your SHIB. So now it's getting that adoption because now they want that SHIB. They want it, and they're going to give it to you at the value that it is. They're not going to try and shortchange you or anything, and then they're going to reduce SHIB's circulating supply when you transfer it. So you think the raffle's going to do it fast? The raffle's going to do it extremely fast, but only at the first start of it. These other organizations are going to catch on to it because it's going to make them money. And if it makes them money, they're going to be in it like white on rice, as we call it. What else? We talked about taxes yesterday. Went over a few little things on taxes. Massive love shout out to Mark Anthony. Massive love shout out to Jason Cox. Massive love shout out to... okay, we'll do the massive love shout outs. Massive love shout out to North America. Massive love shout out to South America. Massive love shout out to Africa. Massive love shout out to Europe. Massive love shout out to Asia. Massive love shout out to Australia. Massive love shout out to Antarctica. Massive love shout out to Madagascar. Massive love shout out to Maui, Hawaii. Massive love shout out to everyone in Greenland and Iceland. Massive love shout out to Ireland. Massive love shout out to Scotland, France, Spain. Massive love shout out to you. And if I missed you, make sure that you put it in the comments. of what we're trying to do is trying to tell everybody before it's too late, right? Once these exchanges take over, guys, it's night and day. You're going to have seconds to make a decision, and you will lose out on buying it really, really cheap. And I don't want that. I want everybody to be able to get in before the takeoff. And it's only a matter of time before it does take off. We're going to see an eruption in SHIB circulating supply. An eruption. We already saw it, and people don't realize what it means, but eventually you will. Okay? We're expecting the wallet holders to start jumping in, 10 to 15,000 per day, and then it's going to escalate from there until we get to roughly around 900 million, and then it might slow down or it could still pick up. We have about 2 billion people that can get in. I don't think we're going to get there. I think the price is going to be reflective of the amount of people that are buying it and selling it on a massive scale. We tell everybody, please treat SHIB like a raffle ticket right now because you can. Later on, that's going to be near impossible once it gets to 10x. Remember, we're 45x from value, so please keep that in mind. That's why this message has to get out to the entire world as quickly as possible, because we want to make sure that everybody has a chance to get in. Because we're in it to win it, and SHIB is absolutely on fire, like it should be on fire. It isn't, so that gives everybody a chance to share, like and comment, and share it with everybody you know, so that they can have a chance to get in. And SHIB is extremely cheap, right? We're 4 zeros, 1, 2. What was it? 4 zeros, 4, 7, 4 zeros, 4 zeros, 12, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, we're at 12 zeros, 4 zeros, 12 zeros, 4 zeros, 1, 2, 4, 4, 8. SHIB is number 19 on the list of cryptocurrencies, and it should be number right under BTC. Any reason why? The only two that have zero governance. The only two currencies that have zero governance. And they're extremely different from each other, right? One has limited supply, which is minting supply every single day. Absolutely. But it's fractions of a Bitcoin per day. So that's why it takes 4 years for it to cycle through to get into the next level where they decrease the amount by 4, right? Half, sorry, not by 4, half the supply. So it costs you the same amount and you get half of it. So that's why it scares the scarcity, increases scarcity, and therefore drive up the price. But you have more of it available. That is absolutely true. SHIB, on the other hand, has less available all the time. Every single time we do a reduction, there's less supply, higher demand. That's the way it should be, because everybody understands supply and demand. But tell that to the crypto enthusiasts out there. Tell that to the investors out there, because they don't believe it either. A lot of them think that it's... How can it? Well, and who are you going to ask? If there's nobody at the helm, who are you going to ask? Because you have to ask investors. And then you're leaving it up to them to tell you the truth. And if you don't believe them, it doesn't matter, right? And majority of them, a lot of them, don't believe it. So how are you going to prove it? Well, you prove it by showing the reductions. Every single time there's a reduction, it's taken away from the supply. That is happening. I've been watching it for 3 years. Every single year that I've had it, it has not gained 1 iota. Now, we've had some exchanges trying to manipulate that. They love this little thing called spread. So the higher the spread, the more it looks like it's minting, but it's not. It's just manipulating it for their fashion. So you got to keep in mind of what that was going on. 2 years ago, we had Coinbase do up a promotion, but it was a reverse promotion, saying that they're giving SHIB away. They're selling SHIB 10 times the value that it was trading at. Somebody bought $10,000 worth of SHIB. Right? Next day he looks at it, he's got $1,000 left. What happened? Well, they sold it to you for 10 times more. And then you see what I mean? You gotta be careful with those guys, gotta be careful with those. So it looks like it's better than what it is, and it isn't. That's the thing. But you just keep focused on what's important, which is shibburn.com, and Etherscan. Now I did have CoinCarp on here, but Ethereum has blocked it. So because it's run on their network, right? It's run on the Ethereum network. I went on X and I told them about it. That why would you sell? Why would you let others manipulate SHIB the way that they have? So it gives you less market share. You do know that you made $40 billion in the 7 million% run, 72% run that SHIB had, and you did nothing about it. You didn't do another burn. So you gave the golden goose to blockchain, to BlackRock, Robinhood, Crypto.com, Binance, and OKX, and Gate.io, and a couple others. But majority of what I just said, that's where the majority of it went to. India, I still believe that they have 60 trillion SHIB available. And they haven't traded any of it, which is amazing. Because if there's anyone going to do it, they would definitely do it to benefit themselves in India. Because it went to the India COVID Relief Fund back in 2021. Vladimir Putin promised them. He donated 50 trillion SHIB to them. They still hold 30 trillion SHIB. They sold 10 trillion SHIB. Massive, right? And then we had a couple organizations that collapsed, which didn't help the cryptocurrencies out at all. In fact, that's what drove them down. And that's what drove SHIB down to the price of where it started. It's because of these other organizations that collapsed. Terra Luna was one of them. Journey was another one. And the FTX scandal, right? That didn't help either. That kind of unfolded, right? So billions lost. And we all know what happened to the founders of Terra Luna. They had to go bankrupt. They went bankrupt about 9 months ago, 10 months ago. Not that that was any surprise. I mean, they came back and they started another. They started the Terra Luna again, and then they had the Terra Luna Classic, which was the original. And Terra Luna Classic is not doing that great either, because they've gotten away from what was important. And every single cryptocurrency, if you're out there, you're listening to tonight's broadcast, it's in your best interest. Now, Blaze tried this. It's the amount of inflection that's bothersome. Okay, if a cryptocurrency starts reducing SHIB circulating supply, is that something that you would be willing to buy into to support them? Okay, because you have to ask yourself, why are they doing it? What's the benefits to them doing it? Well, it's increasing the value of SHIB, which is in turn giving them money back every time there's a reduction in SHIB circulating supply. So it's in their best interest to do this. Absolutely. They get to write it off. That's another thing that's in their best interest. If they're in multiple countries, each country they can write this off in. And that's the benefit to it. And that's why I said, you think that the SHIB burn, the 50-50 raffle, is the only way we can do it real quickly? No, it's the only way it does it quickly right now. Not once these other organizations catch on to it, it's going to be night and day. You're going to see these, when SHIB is under $5, and I mean $5, USDT, £5 even, under £5, you're going to see massive reduction in SHIB circulating supply on a massive scale. Now, why is that going to happen? Well, it's going to drive wealth. It's going to drive earnings. It's going to drive revenue. And it's going to drive growth. You tell me which company in the world that doesn't want to make earnings, revenue, and growth just by reducing something. They don't have to advertise anything. They don't have to go out there and try and figure out what numbers game. They don't have to do any of that. All they got to do is buy SHIB and then start reducing it. And they don't even have to use their money. They use their clients' money to do it. Isn't that amazing? Because that means that if they're using their clients' money to do it, they're getting paid to do it, and they're getting paid to do it again. So that means they're making double the amount of money on the same amount that's being reduced, and they're making money because it's adding value to SHIB, increasing their wealth. And that's why that's the power behind SHIB. And that's the message that every single person on the planet deserves to hear. And that's the message we want to make sure that we install into them, because we want to make sure that everybody has a chance to get as much money as possible. And that's our goal, is to share that information with the entire world. And that's why we want SHIB to everybody to get into SHIB as soon as possible. Now, we only recommend everybody buying a lottery ticket's worth. Now, every time you buy a lottery ticket, you buy SHIB with it, right? Instead of buying a lottery ticket? No, no, no. So if you pay $5 a week and you buy lottery tickets, if you don't buy lottery tickets, please follow the one-step rule. So if you can't afford $5 a week, okay, what you do is you save $2.50 every time there's a raffle. So if there's a raffle once a week, $2.50. If you don't, if a dollar, $1 a week, so $4 every month you're putting into SHIB. We recommend that you try and put as much of it as possible. So if you can do $5 or $6, because it makes a difference if you have to pay percentages to the exchanges. So if it's based on money value, because most of them, like Coinbase, is $5 a transaction. So $5 a transaction, you're putting $4 into it, and you're not doing anything. Okay, so you're just paying for the transaction fees. If it's like Robinhood, 25 cents per transaction, literally, that's okay, right? It doesn't matter if you put in $100 or $1,000 or $100,000. It's still only 25 cents a transaction, unless it's a certain amount that you're buying. Then they charge you a little extra. But for everyone else that's like just want $5, $10, right? We recommend that you use Robinhood if you're in the United States, or if you're in the UK. Robinhood's the best option because they have way better on their exchange rates. OKX is another one that's also doing this. They're hoarding SHIB, and therefore they're able to give you a better discount than on the Ethereum blockchain. Because what they do is they got to pay Ethereum 50 cents on every single transaction under $2,000. I think it's $2,000. I think that's what it is, under $2,000. So anything over 2,000, they charge you more for it. Because what's happening with Ethereum is they're a layer 1 blockchain, which means if they can get congested pretty quickly. They're beefing things up on their blockchain to increase the amount of volume that they can handle. They learned the mistakes from SHIB, but they didn't learn enough mistakes from SHIB to offset the gains. Because if they did, like I said, we would be looking at SHIB at well over $1. And people would not be able to stick $5 into SHIB and look back and say, wow, that was a great investment. No. And $5 seems like a lot of money, but when it gets there, it won't be a lot of money. There'll be a lot less supply, and there'll be a lot more people trying to get in. And it won't be for $5. It's going to be for thousands of dollars, right? $250, yeah, maybe $250, but $250 not going to buy everybody's SHIB. But it won't matter, right? If SHIB gets to 10,000, but the thing is it takes time to get there. Well, the reductions are happening every single day, all the time. Yes, but you got to remember that everyone who holds hundreds of millions of SHIB now are trying to get out, right? So they're trying to bail. So, and the valuations are higher. So most of them will try and sell it because they don't understand currency. You're holding SHIB currency. It's like gold. It's better than gold because it's constantly being reduced. Gold isn't. Bitcoin isn't. The rest of them aren't. There's nothing like SHIB. Nothing. And you'll never ever see it again. That's the best part of SHIB, SHIB. You'll never see anything like it in your lifetime. So everybody should be getting into it. And I'm not sure why it hasn't taken off yet, but I'm pretty sure that not all of them are going to be silly enough to watch it go by for the third time. The second time was bad enough. Okay, they didn't catch on to what happened. The third time, I'm pretty sure people are going to be very aware of what's going on. And only a few of them will catch on to it, and only a few of them will benefit from it. Chris Hungs. Gold is the currency of the universe. The gold is also from stars. And we have a lot of stars. So I can't. Gold is being mined every single day. You agree with that? So it's not like printing money, right? Nothing's faster and better than printing money. That's absolutely correct. That's why we're in so much trouble with debt, is because of printing money. And gold is the standard against inflationary tactics. even though crypto was developed against the currencies overspending, increasing their amount of circulating supply that's on the markets, which is devaluating their dollar. SHIB is increasing the value of its dollar with the reductions. But you don't see anyone going out there and destroying gold. There's not a single soul out there destroying gold, right? You can't, right? Gold is, in its purest form, it's still gold. You can melt it, do whatever you want with it, but it's still gold. SHIB is limited. It's literally reducing itself every single time. So you think about the differences. Gold is being devalued? No, it's being reevaluated every time we have what? More printing going on. So more spending or overspending, it increases the value of gold. And people use it as leverage against the US dollar. SHIB is leveraged against every single country on the planet that is printing more money. Even gold. Even gold should be into SHIB. Any reason why? Chris? Why should gold get into SHIB? Because gold is in Bitcoin. Gold, the Worldwide Gold Council bought Bitcoin. Not sure. Okay, so if you have a currency that's constantly reevaluating and adding more value with every single reduction, isn't that giving back to the entire world with every single reduction in circulating supply? So it hasn't caught on yet, obviously, because if it had, you would see SHIB fly, like instantly fly. Backing. Yeah, okay, so it's a store of value. SHIB will never be a store of value. Any reason why? Anybody? SHIB will never be a store of value. Bitcoin has a better chance of being a store of value than SHIB. Why? Why is that? It's always going to be used to buy and sell everything. Eventually, it will be used for a store of value, but not for a long, long, long time. How many more years? I would say about 25 to 30 years before people start realizing, and SHIB will be at what value? Probably around 16 to 15 million SHIBs left in circulating supply. You can just imagine what the price of SHIB is going to be then. You won't be able to afford it. People won't be able to afford it. And it will still be reducing. Every single day it will be reducing. Why? Well, because. But it will be like Bitcoin? No, it'll be worse. It'll be 1/1000th of a SHIB that's being reduced constantly every second. Because it's adding value to their currency. Every time there's a reduction, and then they'll be held by the central banking systems all around the world. And why would they do that? Because it controls the flow of money. It gives them the ability to print as much money as they possibly can and then take a portion of that and start reducing SHIB with it. So it gives them unlimited spending. See the power in SHIB? That's why I said it'll take a long time before it's a store of value, because it's that insanity. And you need all the countries to work together. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. China is not going to allow it to happen. Russia, who's power hungry, and the U.S. has got they want to make sure they're the number one top dog in the world when it comes to financial influence. So I'm shocked that they haven't started their run in SHIB, because it's only 7.9 billion market cap. I mean, all they got to do is dip it a little bit into the pocketbook. Hey, wait a second, I can control the world debt in one move. I can buy all SHIB. Now, if it costs me $30 million to do it, or $40 million or $50 million to do it, so be it. Then I control the world debt, and I can bring down our deficit in seconds. Not hours, not minutes, in seconds. They just reduce the piss out of SHIB. Increase what? Then sell it on the market for 1,000 times more than it's valued at right now? No, 1,000,000 times more than it's valued at right now. And why? Because they can. They would own it all and they would control it and manipulate it in every way, shape, or form. Would be the biggest heist again with the gold heist that happened back in 2020, back in 1930, the biggest heist of gold ever recorded in history. And they only sold it back for 3 times its value to the American people. Isn't that awesome? They took it in. They gave them money. They gave them money for it. It's going to be like that with SHIB. Now they did that with Bitcoin. They confiscated it, saying that it was a hoax. Everybody fell for it. Everybody fell for it. They confiscated all of it, sent everybody to prison, or extradited them out of the country. Well, can they do that with SHIB? Absolutely, because there's so many people that are so flaky over it. They're just thinking about the trade. So as soon as they see someone buying up, they're selling it. They don't even think twice. Look at what happened in the past. People don't even think twice about it. That's the sad part. And it can get stolen from any country, anywhere, at any moment from around the world. Now, I was expecting Japan, because Japan's sitting at 300% above their GDP in debt. If anyone was going to do it, I thought for sure it would be them. It would be Argentina, Madagascar, places in like the Congo, China, but they're kind of like on the fence. Don't believe it. It's this whole concept of currency throws them, because they think that everybody thinks the way they do. India, and I'm shocked that they haven't, because they already have. You're already given 50 trillion SHIB. All they had to do was start reducing it on the exchanges that they offered. They could have done it. They're well ahead. They're a lot further ahead than Canada and the U.S. when it comes to marketing. So, like, if you think about it, that's like insanity times 100, because they haven't caught on to it. Which is, thank God they haven't, because everybody has a chance to buy it. And it gives you the opportunity to buy it for as little as possible, $12, $14, $15 to get in, which is awesome, right? Where else can you get 1 million of something for $14, $15? And you're buying something that has devalued its currency to something that's always increasing its currency in value. So where can you do that? You can only do it in one place, and that's SHIB. Now, everybody likes to talk about other cryptocurrencies, but every other cryptocurrencies have governance. There's only 2 that don't have governance, right? It's Bitcoin and SHIB. Even Doge has a CEO. And yes, they do proof of work. We found that out a couple of days ago. SHIB does have staking, but it's not through SHIB. Everybody, please go straight into the Shiba swap. They do the staking. That's from the ecosystem development team, not through SHIB. SHIB is on its own, away from them. Remember that they didn't start their run until 2021, August 2021, 1 year after SHIB was born. So SHIB has got zero governance. The guy that owned it, operated it, left, threw everything away, burnt everything. Took the keys with him? No, he threw them away. He killed it. And how do we know that? Vitalik Buterin built the 3 wallets that destroy SHIB on a constant basis. Vitalik Buterin did that through Ethereum. Massive love, shout out to Vitalik Buterin. We want to make sure that we give acknowledgement where it's due. We give acknowledgement to Shibarium, because they also did a $56 billion burn. We thank the whole community of everybody that took part in the burns from 2021 to now. We thank you. Unfortunately, people don't pay attention to the burns. That's the truth. They don't understand that value being added to SHIB on every single reduction. If they did, SHIB would be 3 zeros, 5, 6, 4 minimum. Every other exchange out there, not every single exchange, every single company who makes money always trades above their value. We are well below our value. 3 zeros, 5, 6, 4 is the value of SHIB 2 weeks ago. Okay? Every single reduction increases the value. So how much of a difference do we make? Oh, T, U, 6. Explain Doge thing. I think you are wrong. Yeah. Okay, Doge has a CEO, right? I know everybody likes to think it doesn't, but it does. Every once in a while, you'll see this little article come up. Hasn't come up in a little while, but it's uh, where Elon Musk and the CEO talk. Okay, and the other one is proof of work. So you're able to do what? You're able to get money back from Doge through proof of work. They don't have a separate entity. Like SHIB has a separate entity. Doge doesn't have a separate entity. So it's governed, guys. It's got governance. It's only got one guy that's overlooking it that we know of. We don't know the whole story behind Doge. But yeah, Doge is the meme coin start. It was the king of the meme coins because that's where it's all started from. But yeah, it does have a CEO. And that's that. I know that everybody does the exact same thing with SHIB. They go, well, if SHIB doesn't have a CEO, how come it's got staking? If you noticed anything about the staking, guys, it's on Shibburn. You see it on Shibburn, right? Okay, we'll go down here. Staked 4.745. It's from the ecosystem development team. They're the ones that started this. They owned over 20 trillion SHIB at one time. They're down to less than 3, around 2.9. Last time I checked it, it was under 3 trillion SHIB that they had. They had sold over 17 trillion SHIB in the last 3 years. So you think about that. In the last little while, they've been selling more of it. So the Shibburn helped them sell a massive number of it. And if you notice, the staking is going down because most of the exchanges don't support it. In Doge, they recommend that you put your money into the work. It protects it. And they used to have staking, but then they changed it to proof of work. So you don't get paid as much, but it's more secure. So you pay for that security. That's the whole point of the SHIB worldwide. That's the whole point of Doge, right? And the whole Doge community is massive. They're a massive community as well. Just like Pepe, they have a massive community, massive following. But how many of them truly reduce the circulating supply? Like, do you see Doge reducing its circulating supply? No. Do you see SHIB reducing its circulating supply? Yes, all the time. How come it hasn't caught on? Because people don't follow it. They don't pay attention to the value being added every single time there's a reduction in SHIB circulating supply. That's why we can't tell you enough. We can't promote it enough. We can't explain it enough to every single person. This message needs to get out to the entire world about how this helps them become extremely wealthy before it explodes. And it can explode at any moment. And that's the truth of it. But the chance of it happening is very slim until companies or organizations or a backdoor, like Japan's backdoor investment portfolios start hammering away at the supply. If that happens, you'll see a couple of things happening. You'll see multiple wallets all buying 2 or 3 trillion or 4 or 5 trillion at a time. Okay. They won't waste time screwing around with little fundamental ticks and tricks. They won't waste their time with that. They'll be in it to win it. But they won't want it all at once because they know they'll be paying a high premium if they do. So it's to buy it, swallow a bunch of it, and then wait, see if it sells off. And guess what? Most of the SHIB holders sell it. Truth, that's truth. Most of them see a big pop, a big green candle. What happens? That green candle, why? Because every one of them want to make money, and they don't care who's buying it as long as they're buying it from me. Exactly. That's how they feel about it, and that's how it gets destroyed really quickly once you understand what's going on. So what happens is they buy a massive amount of it, then you see it come back down, buy another massive amount of it, it comes right back down, buy another massive amount of it, comes right back down. So you're allowing them to buy it under value because more people are willing to sell it under value. And then when they accumulate so much of it, then they're going to be a free-for-all. Right? And they know it. Because they can only do it so long, and then all of a sudden, they're going to be paying a higher premium for it. But they won't. I guarantee you this: 94% of everybody will start taking profits as soon as we break 3 zeros. As soon as it breaks we're not even at value. As soon as it breaks 3 zeros, it goes 3 zeros 1. 3 zeros 1 2 1 3 1 4. You're going to see some massive selling. Massive selling. Because everybody, that's when a lot of people jumped in, only put $100, $200 worth into SHIB, and now it broke even, and now they're making just a little bit of money, now they're pulling it out. That's the truth. People look at it and say, wow, finally I'm able to make my money back. So I'm not going to, I had to wait 4 years for this to come back. I'm not going to wait any longer. So as soon as I'm making some money off of it, I'm cashing out and I'm getting out and I will stay out. And then one of the countries will be posting it saying we are now backing our financial sector in SHIB. Then it's too late for everybody to get in because the price is going to skyrocket because they're going to take everybody else's exchange money that was happening and start reducing it on a massive scale. So whatever they're taking in, that drives the price of theirs up. So their exchanges, they'll have like 5 or 6 exchanges or 10 exchanges that they'll be using, like OKX, Coinbase. And every time that they do a transaction, there's going to be a burn mechanism associated with it. So it's burning everybody else's SHIB but theirs. Do you understand that? Once they get it down to a certain amount, that's when they're going to pump their SHIB into the market. But the price is going to be skyrocketing by then. And then if they're smart, what they're going to do is take their supply and start reducing it against their against the money that they owe. So to drive their what? Every time that someone buys and sells with their currency, with the yen, they're going to take a portion of that and start reducing SHIB circulating supply with it, driving their demand in their own country higher. So what's that going to do? It's going to offset the amount of money that's owed to Japan and drive up the value of their dollar. It hasn't happened. Their yen. It's going to drive up the value of their yen because they're taking more yen off the marketplace. You understand the whole concept of this, right? When you have something you can reduce, it's going to instantly inflate your dollar. So that means that anyone that takes on this amount and encouragement for every single person, this is empowerment, because what's going to happen is it's just going to increase the amount that SHIB is valued at every single time there's a reduction. And they're going to massively reduce it. It's not going to be a couple $100 billion. It's going to be trillions, 1-2 trillion every single month or every single month afterward. That's going to do this. Why? Because it's going to increase the value of their dollar and SHIB at the same time. And then once they figure it out, it won't take them long. Once they figure out that SHIB can be the world dominant figure over debt, that's when things change. Because now the World Economic Forum is going to want to be talking to Japan because they're going to be the powerhouse. Small country is going to be a powerhouse of financial stability. That's the truth of it. So I'm shocked that they haven't already because SHIB has given them so many opportunities. It's given everybody so many opportunities to get in before things get overwhelmed. And I'm shocked it hasn't happened yet. I can't figure it out myself. I've been trying to figure it out, but I don't know why. And I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. I can admit that. Okay, so, and these things have a way of coming out and presenting themselves out to the entire world. It just hasn't come out just yet. I don't know why. This is not, the message is not being heard about what SHIB is offering every single person on the planet, which is astonishing when you really, really think about it. And what else do we want to talk about? So Doge is the meme top dog, right? Just like Bitcoin is always going to be the king of cryptocurrency. SHIB might get higher in value than BTC eventually. It won't be right away, right? But it'll always be king, just like Elvis Presley is king. And we have the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Same idea, right? They're always going to be the king. There might be somebody who outsells them in records because, why? Because the records cost more people on the planet, more people buying it, more people trading it, more people using it. Now, records are concerned. Everybody's like, well, we don't have records anymore. We have MP3 players, and we have YouTube, and we have the radio, and we have peer-to-peer now, so we can, we can get everything we want in the blink of an eye on the internet. One click of a button, you can get anything you want. Watch a movie, watch movies that just got released. It doesn't cost you anything. I mean, it's just that quick, right? You just got some logo in the side of it that was sent out to one of the countries, one of the smaller countries that they did what is it? First run on to see how well it does in the theaters. So they have these little segments, but there's always someone recording it in the background. That recording has a symbol on there of because it's not very expensive for people to take part in it, to give them a non-biased opinion of how they think the movie did or whatever. But there's always somebody recording it. That's the whole point of it, and that's why a lot of companies, but way back when, were saying that if you pirate a movie, it's like pirated off of who? Peer-to-peer is everybody. It's worldwide. It's insane. And that catches on faster than SHIB, and SHIB puts money back in your pocket, which I still can't fathom why it hasn't caught on. Just saying. Just saying. I'm Will, your host of the SHIB Worldwide 50/50 Raffle. Tonight we couldn't host it. We didn't sell any tickets. Tomorrow we're looking forward to selling tickets. Of course we're looking forward to selling tickets. Look forward to every single day that we sell tickets. Why? Because we burn minimum 500 million SHIB with the minimum raffle draw of 21,000 tickets. Each ticket is sold in SHIB. Right now it's 55,000 SHIBs per ticket. We don't take fiat currency whatsoever. It's all in SHIB, worldwide. Worldwide. Everybody, worldwide. Say it with me. Worldwide. 5.3 billion possible investors. No word of a lie. 5.3 billion can afford to buy SHIB, which works out to about $12.70 right now for 1 million SHIB. Insane. Insane. Insane in the membrane. Oh no, $12.65 buys you 1 million. So $12.65 buys you 1 million SHIB right now. Woohoo! How much of that do we only ask for pennies on the glass. So if you're in the US, it's 63 cents per SHIB. That's 63 cents equals 55,000 SHIB. So just so you know, in Canada, 92 cents. So it's less than $1. Still in Canada for 55,000 SHIB. Thanks everybody for coming. We want to share with you the massive love show to the entire world. Jason Cox, you didn't come in tonight, but the movie that was with Jesus, that was Heaven is Real. Heaven is for real. Heaven is for real was the name of the movie and the book. Okay, so Jason Cox, if you're out there, that's the name of the book. I know this is late coming in and 63 minutes into the hour. Yeah, we're doing a massive love show to everybody. What we like to share this segment with our Lord Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Supposed to do the prayer at the first of it, right? Everybody's saying, shouldn't you start this off with the prayer? So we do John 3:16. Why do we do John 3:16? God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son to be a sacrifice for every single person on the planet. Forever and ever, right? God bless her. Thank you. Amen. Absolutely, Chris. Thank you so much for sharing. Hold on here. I'm going to get you as a moderator. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and comment. Keep up to date with the raffle. Everybody should be keeping up to date with the raffle. Everybody should be a subscriber. Remember that everything that we make on this channel goes towards what? The reduction in SHIB circulating supply. So 80% of everything we make on the channel goes back into the community, back into every single SHIB holder. So make sure that you tell everybody about the channel so that everybody can take part and be part of something wonderful and great and magnificent. Because everybody wants to make money. And with the raffle, everybody wins. You win, the winner wins, and the second part of it, everybody wins. Because the reduction in SHIB circulating supply, if you're holding SHIB, you make money because we're adding more value as we reduce the circulating supply, which is amazing. So everything is live. There's nothing held back. Everything is done live so that everybody can monitor it and see just how powerful what we're doing for every single SHIB holder in the world. And that's we keep that the truth. Okay, not to get away from Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ is King, He's the Lord and Savior. He is the Lamb of God. His blood was shed so that we would have eternal life if we come to Jesus Christ. Because you have to ask for forgiveness for the sins that you've done. But his blood was shed for you. Every single person on the planet was shed for you, which is amazing. And that's that personal relationship with somebody who loved you that much and didn't even know you. Isn't that awesome? That's profound love, my friends. Unconditional, right? That is unconditional. Back in the in the history, we used to have to sacrifice a lamb for the people who sinned. So they understood something pure and innocent had to die. That was the price of sin. So that something had to die because something has to die for the sin that you created. So that you understood the value of your sin. So that you would stop sinning because you understood what that meant. That something pure and innocent had to die so that you would have eternal life. Jesus Christ took that on the cross. His blood was shed so you just take Jesus Christ into your heart. So you don't have to sacrifice a lamb of God, a lamb, because it was already done for you. And once you're forgiven of your sin, it can't come back and haunt you. Everybody has this, but I've done wrong. That's the beauty of it. You don't deserve it, but you get it anyway. And that's the value of that perfect friendship that you'll always have with Jesus Christ. Thank you. God bless each and every one of you. Jesus loves every single one of you. God bless you all. Peace out, my brothers and sisters. Have a great and wonderful evening. And we always say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night from wherever you are in the world, because it's different times, different time zones, but we want to make sure we get to you. Absolutely. Thank you, and God bless each and every one of you. Have a great and wonderful day. Cheers for now. Until tomorrow, we'll have to carry on. Until tomorrow, we'll just keep moving on. Absolutely. Moving forward. Always moving forward in Jesus Christ. Thank you. Have a great and wonderful day.